Our top story this afternoon. President Park Geun-hye is back on Korean soil after returning from a 9-day trip that took her to China, Myanmar and Australia.
Along the way, she attended 3 global forums, held 6 bilateral summits, and announced the conclusion of free trade negotiations with 2 countries. Our presidential office correspondent Choi You-sun has more on the president's achievements.
Following a 2.5-year tug-of-war, President Park Geun-hye meeting her Chinese counterpart on the sidelines of the APEC Beijing Summit announced the conclusion of Korea-China FTA negotiations.
글로벌 경기 회복이 지연되고 저성장 국면이 지속되고 있는 세계 경제에도 반가운 소식이 될 것이라고 생각합니다.
By finalizing a free trade deal with its biggest trading partner, Korea hopes to reduce $5.4 billion in annual tariffs and to accelerate entry into China's consumer goods and domestic markets. Another long-awaited deal, Korea's FTA with New Zealand, was finalized and announced by the 2 countries' leaders on the sidelines of the G20 Brisbane Summit. Korea has secured a greater voice in multilateral trade talks, having concluded FTAs with 10 out of the 12 countries participating in the U.S.-led free trade network, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, and 16 of 21 Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation members. On the diplomatic front, President Park maintained a balance in relations with Korea's key partnering nations, talking about ways to boost cooperation on the North Korean nuclear issue with both of the G2 leaders. She also sought ways to thaw relations with Tokyo, agreeing with her Japanese counterpart to move forward on talks over resolving Japan's wartime sex slavery of Korean women and expressing hopes for a trilateral leaders summit with China and Japan.
영내의 평화와 번영에 기여하는 길은 바로 이와 같은 실질적 협력을 강화하는 것이라고 생각합니다.
And lastly, at the G20 summit, the Korean leaders' growth strategy by way of social reforms, deregulation, and support for the creative industries received the highest grade among the G20 nations. Choi You-sun, Arirang News.